Our first guest tonight has been in the movies for so long. Her first headshot was an ultrasound. She has now reached the pinnacle of show business. She is host of her own talk show. Season 2 of The Drew Barrymore Show premieres Monday. Please welcome Drew Barrymore.
Energy. I'm not a taker. I'm a giver. So right back at you, and thank you. How wonderful to be with an audience. Wow.
Drew, I never heard anybody. I have to say, I've never heard anyone put it like that. I can't take energy. I'm a giver, and I feel the same way.
You are so giving.
It makes me uncomfortable.
I'm not. You know, I'm much better. I love reciprocity. It should go both ways. But I'm more comfortable giving than receiving.
Do you feel that makes us better than most people?
I think it makes us more complex because I can forgive everybody. I'm so unjudgmental.
Oh, I'm none of those things. Yeah.
Tolerance level.
Now you're talking about somebody else.
Oh, yeah. But then when it comes to me, I'm like, zero tolerance, total judgment, no room for error. But I'm working on it.
You're doing your show in New York City. That's where you do the show. And have you been to L.A. before? Is this your first trip here?
I think you're right about my headshot being in the womb. I certainly came out of the womb like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Right here in Hollywood, I had a martini, and I was like, na 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 na. Yes, I was born and raised here, and living a life that was so fortunate and wonderful to be able to be stationed all over the world, a lot of different places within the country for 3, 4, 5, 6 months at a time. You just get to see different places, other people, learn their state, learn their city, and it's just been such a great expander of my horizons and my understanding of this world. But I always came back to right here, the 90046 was this North Star constant for me. Mm-hmm. And it was very stabilizing in an inconsistent life, and moving was very traumatic, honestly, for me. But it was what I needed to do. My kid's father's family was there, and we're very close, and so close. We all live right in the same neighborhood, and I just said, you know what? This is where our lives have taken us. This is the chapter, and we're going to embrace it. But I found great happiness there. So
yeah, why not? I mean, it's not like you had to move someplace terrible. It's New York.
Absolutely. It was just I've got my feet so planted in this neighborhood. You know, my family, I know that they've been right across the street because my grandfather's like faces in the cement, you know?
Oh, right. I have a picture of that.
Yeah.
I know it sounds kind of terrible to say your grandfather's face is in the cement.
Oh, he was face down a lot.
But this is your grandfather.
Us Barrymores were hedonists.
This is how he died. He was, This is your grandfather, who not only I like that, he didn't just put his hands and feet, he went with the whole face.
Yes, and he was known as the great profile, so he put it in...
And there's the profile.
In the cement.
Yeah.
And it's like knowing that I was right around the corner from that brought me closer to my family.
Quite literally, in fact.
That's me face planting, because that's what we Barrymores do.
This is a very unsanitary move, Drew. This is not...
You know, whatever brings me closer to him. Sometimes I look at the moon and think that's him, and, you know, sometimes I stick my face in the cement. Whatever brings you close to your family.
Speaking of the moon and family, I watched E.T. with my kids over the summertime, my little one.
Now, how old is Jane now?
Jane is 7 and Billy is 4.
Okay, did they like it or?
They loved it.
Oh, good.
They cried.
Oh.
The whole thing.
You know, when he's like the little powdered donut in the river, you're not human if that doesn't rip your heart out.
It's such a great movie. They learned the word penis breath, which they now use a lot.
It's a great line. We all loved it back then as kids, so I'm not surprised that kids today still like it.
Have you sat with your kids and watched that one?
You know, it's funny. They've seen. At first, I didn't want to be an indulgent dip. You know what? And be like, hey, kids, let's sit around and watch my movies. Like, what a jerk. But then it got...
I totally didn't do that with the Paw Patrol movie this summer. Just so you know.
It's Paw Patrol!
I totally didn't go to the theater and then kind of look around and see if anybody recognized me, the other kids. But go on.
I'm tempted to sing the Paw Patrol theme song, but I'm going to stop myself because I'm not a singer. But Paw Patrol will be there on the double. Paw Patrol, whenever there is trouble. Okay, sorry.
It's a great theme song.
I love Paw Patrol, so I'm glad you did that. And but eventually they got curious, and then I didn't want to be coveting and weird.
Right.
So I was like, sure, yeah, you can watch it. I wanted it to be their choice, not me pushing it on them. They call them mom movies, which is so sweet. They love 50 First Dates and Ever After. But for some reason, they were just at the wrong ages for E.T. They weren't in.
Really?
But I want to show them now and see if, it was just an age thing, or maybe they just don't like it.
And how is E.T.? Do you keep in touch?
Totally.
Okay.
But on a less celestial and more earthly level, we actually had dinner with Steven Spielberg the other night, who has been someone who is, really kind of the first father figure I ever had and remained in my life as such.
Wow.
And he calls me his first kid, and he held Olive and Frankie when they were born. He's just in my life, and he's very important to me. And we were sitting around a table, and we were having dinner, and Frankie is exactly my age when I did E.T. Wow. Actually, she's a few months older. Never mind. It doesn't matter. But he said, Frankie, I want you to say this line, alligators in the sewers. And she did, and then he looked at me, he's like, yep, she's got it. And I was like, it was so surreal to me to have that circle of life moment. It was so trippy.
Maybe she'll start putting her head in cement, too.
If she's a Barrymore, she certainly will. But it's so funny because, I don't think about them being actors. If they want to do that when they're older, I support it fully. But it was a moment where I was like, I can't believe Steven's directing my daughter at the same age. This is just so surreal.
We are going to take a break. Drew Barrymore is with us. Her new show, her season 2 of her talk show, returns next Monday. We'll be right back.
It is a worldview that reminds us that romantic comedies with folks like Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, or Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant, or who am I missing, Coach?
Drew Barrymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey, obviously.
All right, yeah.
That is Drew Barrymore, host of the Drew Barrymore Show.
I love Ted Lasso.
You didn't know that was coming, huh?
No, and every once in a while, when you're just wanting to escape the world, and this is so surreal, but I've heard my name pop up at times, and sometimes it's not so fun. Or they insult you, or, you're like, oh, God, I just wanted to escape the world, and now I'm getting taken down,
You
but
have
that
to
was
enjoy
positive.
the good moments, too.
Yes, exactly. It can work both ways.
You took the summer off. Now you're about to start your show again.
Yes.
When you started doing the show, you were doing the show live. And I have to say that, first of all, that's very difficult to do. Secondly, most talk shows don't go well, but you could kind of tell, right off the bat that you were going to be good at it. I think you
Really?
Yeah. And even when I heard it
Because I got
announced...
focus groups that disagree.
Yeah. Listen,
but you...
Nobody hits a home run right at the beginning, but you have an innate charm, I think, that works very well. And that
from the man I respect so much.
Whoever decided to give you the show was very bright, I think. I really do think
Elaine Bauer Brooks. That is who I owe all this to, and Rich Cervini and George Cheeks and just everyone, Armando Nunez, Steve Ocasio, all these people literally took this chance. And when we did it, it was really an audition. It was a sales tape. It was not a done deal. We waited many months to see if it was going to get picked up. And then it did. Then the pandemic happened. And then with all humility, we understood it was probably not likely to go. And then we persevered and we went ahead and did it. And then we waited until the end of season 1 to find out if there was a season 2. So this has kept me on my toes. It showed me that we continue to work without that comfort of knowing this is going to continue. And you still have to work at it as if your life depends on it. And with season 2, I'm excited to go on with a little more confidence and a little more security. And I've learned a lot in season 1, I will say that. And
What's the biggest thing you learned? Number one thing.
Well, it was such an unprecedented time, you know?
Yeah.
There wasn't an audience, which we're going to appreciate them more than we ever would have otherwise. I mean, I always would have appreciated them. I can be a little too goofy.
It's hard to watch yourself, isn't it? And to listen.
No, people thought that way, not me. I'm very comfortable with my goofiness. The reason that we chose to start and launch live, which is one of my biggest learning curves, is it is one of the hardest jobs I've ever done in my life, and I have an infallible work ethic, and it's just a juggernaut of another level. I wanted to start live because we were in September of 2020. And things would change by the minute and the hour, not the day. And I didn't want to come out and do anything that was tone deaf to everything with the highest stakes happening in our world.
Right.
And so I wanted that discipline. It also gave us the ability to sharpen our tools that if we ever had to flip the switch and go live again, we're versed in that. We can do that. And you have got to be in a level of respect for what everybody is going through and what is happening in the world. It wasn't the time, as goofy as I was, it wasn't the time to be disrespectful or risk it. So I'm glad we did that.
So this season you're going to be disrespectful and risk it?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
100%. But live is another animal. Now,
Yeah.
we were live at 9 a.m. You started live. Tell me about
At 9
that.
p.m., yeah.
The yin and the yang we were.
Yeah, I almost died. It was ridiculous. It was like, we were up all night. It was crazy. It was
And
just
we
a
were
stupid thing
up
to
all
do.
night trying to get ready for the morning, and you're not able to craft things in the same way.
Right.
And I'm a crafter.
Okay.
I really like to worry about the posts and the edits and master the conversations. And when you're live, you're on a rocket ship the entire time.
For me, 80% is fine. It's just good. It's plenty good enough. That's what
They say
shoot for
80-20
90.
is the key to life. But
I think I've solved it then.
did you enjoy live, and do you like this better?
Yeah, this is better. Yes. No, I did not enjoy life. No. Yeah.
It has a very different energy. The pluses are.
Oh, I think you said, did you enjoy life? Oh, yeah. No, I enjoyed live. It was life I was having a problem with.
The pluses are you get to be so current. It's like if a news story breaks, whether it's in pop culture or the news, you just are so on top of it. And I hated the delay in news because news is a big thing for me. And I just have to say, your writers are just so brilliant.
We don't have writers. I do it all myself.
You're brilliant. The monologues, the comedy, the jokes,
I take all the credit for that. Thank you.
I love comedy, and I need it. And I came from Saturday Night Live training. I started at 7 years old there, and I tried to bring a lot of that experience into the show. And for me, comedy has been such a healer and a North Star and a medicine that I've had to find my way where it fits into the body of our show.
Right.
And I think I found the balance. But I went whole hog in the beginning because I just love funny. So thank you for making us laugh. It is medicine.
Well, listen.
It's true.
I don't seem to be able to do anything else.
Also, I have a beef with daytime television in that they don't lean into comedy as much. It's more of a nighttime you got through the day.
Ellen does a lot of comedy, but this is her last season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, she's a comedian.
Yeah, I know.
So, but that's why she has it available to her. And I don't think, I wanted to bring the writers in and say, let's write comedy. Let's do comedy. Let's have, you know, I want this show to be
Just
a bright
get yourself
spot.
some VR goggles and a snake and
By the way,
find a
Guillermo,
delightful security
that was
man.
amazing.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
And I would have dropped as many F-bombs as you did. I'm actually not afraid of snakes, but for something else, you're just a man after my own heart, because it was one F-bomb after another.
Thank you.
Drew Barrymore,
Thank you.
everybody. Season 2 of the Drew Barrymore Show starts Monday. We'll be back with Sebastian Maniscalco. Thanks for watching. If you liked that video, click the subscribe button. And if you didn't like it, well, you hurt my feelings.